to your 1 minute pictures, and I loved hearing things like people-centered businesses, and I got into this job because I wanted to help people, and I think that's really indicative of the kind of people that we have in here tonight, and that's really the type of culture that we want to grow and embrace in this group. So before I spend 15 or so minutes talking about the abundance principle, the shared abundance principle as it applies to business, I thought I'd better tell you who I am and my place of experience, where I'm talking from. So I'm from Melbourne, like many of us are, and after I finished high school, I was really fortunate that my first job was with the marketing department at the Melbourne Theatre Company. Now that's a really hard company to get in with. Fortunately, I knew someone, and I had 2 marvellous years as the marketing assistant in a really creative environment, which very much suited where my interests lay. From there though, I kind of went sideways, as you often do in your careers, and I went into event management. And then I moved again, and I moved into customer service in insurance. And I started in telecommunications, and then I moved across to insurance. So in the call centre, customer service consultant. In 2005, I was awarded the ATA Teleprofessional of the Year award, which recognised my work as a customer service consultant in Victoria, which was a fairly prestigious award. And at that time, I started to climb the corporate ladder, and I moved into team leadership, and I moved into training. I got my certificate for workplace training and assessment, and I found something that really resonated with me. I loved training people, which is why I have a little bit of confidence to come up here tonight, because it harks back to those days for me. From there, I shifted across into superannuation. So another corporate type field, where I became a team manager, managing up to 25 staff. So people management, not product management, and also training as well, training things like customer service and conflict resolution. In 2007, I got married, and in 2008, I had my first child, and I relocated out here, and I fell in love with the place, as so many of us do. We were supposed to be here for 18 months from my husband's job as a policeman. 7 years later, we just about to hit 7 years here, and you cannot get me out with a shoehorn from this place. I absolutely love it. So during my time since being here, since arriving and doing the mum thing a lot, I still had opportunities to do a little bit of work in the area. I worked at the community college, East Gippsland. Who remembers community college before it closed down? I worked with them delivering business skills, certificate 3 business skills. And I also delivered training around social media marketing for small business, so utilising things like Facebook, Twitter, blogging, how and why you would use those things for small business. I returned a little bit to my event management background, running the Artisans Bazaar at the Staples Cafe before they closed. And until about 12 months ago, I was the Vice President of the Bairnsdale Makers Market. That's all tied into the fact that I had my own craft label for 5 years, where I was hand making my own stationery and homewares and selling them online and selling them at market as well. So that's where I started to really get my first foray into small business management, even though it was more of a hobby and less of a business. About 18 months ago, so I should say I had my son then. He's a little bit important, he's 4 now. So yeah, that certainly affected my ability to work. But about 18 months ago, I decided that that wasn't working for me anymore. And that was actually a really good thing that it wasn't working for me anymore, because I decided it was time to step up and fulfill the one thing I'd always wanted to do since I was 16, and that was to be an interior designer. And I thought, well, if this thing isn't working for me anymore, it is time for me to listen and get the training that I should have probably done 10 years ago and really pursue my dreams. So that's where I'm at now. I've been studying with ISCD, or the International School of Colour and Design, for 18 months now. And about 6 months ago, I actually launched my business, Interior Philosophy. Mostly because, and I'm so thankful for this, people were really excited about what I was doing and they wanted to hire me. And I kept saying, no, I'm still studying. And said, no, we trust you. We can see your capabilities. We want to hire you. So I thought, well, I have to take advantage of the opportunities that are coming my way. So I opened up my business. So now I'm here. Part of the PNBN, really proud to be with these ladies building this group and meeting you all and excited to talk about something that has come to my consciousness, I'd say, really since I started interior philosophy, and that is the shared abundance principle as it applies to business. Any questions? So, I'm going to start my presentation tonight by telling you all a story. Who remembers Choose Your Own Adventure stories from when you were kids? It's going to be Choose Your Own Adventure story. There are two alternative endings. I'm going to read them both to you and see which one you think is the better result. Okay, so once upon a time, there was a small tourist town with a shopping strip. This town was not unlike our town of Paynesville. It had the usual selection of shops which you might expect to see in a tourist town, and it had a variety of eateries. Beryl has owned the ice cream shop in that town for 20 years. She loves her business, but in recent years she's watched it decline. She's not quite sure why. She is scared. Her business is vital to taking care of her family, including paying for her husband's medication and also paying for her home mortgage. Over the last 20 years, Beryl hasn't changed or done anything different, unique or interesting with her business. Her ice cream flavours are the same. Her decor is the same. I've lost my clothes. Hold on a second. She hires staff at minimum wage, and she doesn't really invest much time or money into training them. Her prices are probably a little bit high, but tourists expect to pay a little bit more, so that's probably okay. She doesn't really get involved with her local business community, and she doesn't participate in community events other than to open her shop during those times to make additional sales. That's just how things have always been done at Beryl's ice cream shop. In the same small town, the Mitchell family decided to take a gamble on living their dream. They started making plans to open up a gourmet supermarket. It caters to a select segment of the tourist market, people who consider themselves to be foodies and people who like to enjoy good food and wine when they're holidaying in the town. Filling their shop with both local and unique food and wine products, they also decide to include a gourmet ice cream bar. They're excited about what their business is going to offer to their community. They too need this business venture to work out. They've remortgaged their home in order to pursue their dreams. They have 2 kids in high school and a child in university. When Beryl hears about the new supermarket development happening just up the street, she starts investigating what it's going to be like, what's it going to offer and how's it going to be set up. She discovers the supermarket will have an ice cream bar. She feels angry and she feels threatened, but she doesn't really understand her own emotions and where they're coming from. Beryl starts looking for all the reasons why this is a bad idea. And she starts trying to get other people in the town to agree with her to reinforce her own feelings about it. She starts to say things to people like, well, if this thing goes ahead, there isn't going to be enough parking for everybody's customers. How are all the delivery trucks going to get in there? The road will be blocked. It's going to take away money from all the other shops that are already struggling. And finally, well, I may as well just close up shop. Well, over time, the supermarket is open and it's well received by both the tourists and the locals. Most people agree that it was a niche opportunity that until now had gone overlooked. Moreover, the opening of the store, coupled with other things that have been happening in the town, including improved infrastructure and a new annual street parade, meant that they were experiencing an increase in the tourist numbers and that many of the local businesses were now thriving. So here is where we get to choose our own adventure. It's the end of the story. I'm going to read to you 2 scenarios. The first is, nothing changes for Beryl. As for Beryl, her business stays the same as it was. It's not better, it's not worse. She didn't lose out because of the new supermarket, but she also failed to capitalise on the potential opportunities that are being presented to her. Are you guys cool with that ending?
No.
Good job, Kelly! You get stuff. Okay, so here's the alternative ending. Beryl has a a change of heart and gets a brilliant idea. Beryl starts listening to the people around her, and she sees their enthusiasm and excitement for the recent changes in her town. Both local business owners and customers are happy. She sees the increased tourist traffic, and she sees that she's not really benefiting from it. So she sits down with a good friend and has a conversation where she can let go of her fear, let go of her jealousy, let go of her judgment. Her friend gently suggests that perhaps it's time to do things a little bit differently at Beryl's ice cream shop. That in order to join in with the exciting things that are happening around her, she needs to start talking to and working with the other businesses around her. That she needs to talk with her customers and find out what they really want in her shop. And that she needs to get to know the Mitchell family that are opening up the supermarket up the road. Over the next few months, Beryl widens her ice cream range. She adds in a juice bar. She updates her decor. She gets snazzy new uniforms. And she sends her staff off to customer service training. She decides to leave her prices as they are to help cover the costs for these recent changes, but resolves not to increase them any further for the next 2 years. She invites Mrs. Mitchell over for a juice and a get to know you. She discovers she actually really quite likes her, and as they chat, they hatch a plan. At the next street parade, they decide to co-host an ice cream festival. They'll both bring their ice cream offerings out onto the street front and offer all ice cream cones at $3 each. They will share their advertising costs, and they will both volunteer on the committee of the street parade to help make it all happen. And they will live happily ever after. So we are going to, I suppose, talk about old Beryl and new Beryl throughout the presentation. So we can see, I suppose, the theory that we're discussing and how that might play out in real life. Thank you, Beryl. So I would like to ask you, do you have a business philosophy? Do you behave consciously in your business? And are you reactive or proactive? Who do you want to be as a business owner, and how do you want to be seen by the community? What drives and informs your decision making, and have you actually ever stopped to think about it? Human beings are deeply scripted in the way that old Beryl was behaving, and it can be a really hard habit to break, but with most things, awareness is the key. And I'm sure that many of you are already conscious of some of the things that we'll be discussing today, but for others, it might be something you've just never thought about. So tonight, I'd like to clarify the fundamental differences between old Beryl's behaviour and new Beryl's behaviour, and encourage you to make some conscious decisions about how you want to be in your business. Do you want to be old Beryl, or do you want to be new Beryl? Okay, so who's got a business plan? Okay, just have a quick sit down. Anybody in business, whether you've been in business for 20 years or 6 months, should have a business plan, and roughly should include definitely all of these things and probably more. Your mission statement. I mean, our group has its mission statement and core values. It was one of the first things we developed in working out who we wanted to be as a group and what we wanted to achieve. You need to have your financials in order. You need to be able to see what's going to be projected into the future, and you need to be able to know where your money is and where it's going to be. I find it really important to know your point of difference in the marketplace, because there's more than one interior stylist in East Gippsland. I need to understand what makes me unique and what people come to me for and why. And I also have to have a really clear idea of who my ideal customer is, and I'm talking age, demographic of what wage they earn, where they live, what sort of car they drive, how they dress, what they watch on TV. I'm really getting down to the nuts and bolts of who my ideal customer is. Long-term goals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in advance, and how you're going to progress, and a marketing strategy. So these things should be, well, these are your basic business planning fundamentals, and I'm sure there are more. But you have all of that stuff to help you manage all of this stuff. The business assets, And it's not just your equipment. Business assets is so much more. It's your money, it's your time, your energy and your motivation, your suppliers, your relationships, your influence and your connections, your clients and your business leads, your general and industry specific skills, your resources, your infrastructure, your equipment, your experience, your knowledge and your wisdom. All of these things are assets to your business. But what is the philosophy that is underpinning all of that for you? Do you tend to operate in the scarcity model or in the shared abundance model? And that's what we're really looking at today. What are these two models and how are they different? Okay, some doodles. I like visual imagery to help understand a message. So the scarcity model says that there is only so much of the business pie. And if a competitor comes in and takes a bigger slice of the pie, my slice will automatically get smaller. Their success is my failure. Their win is my loss. I've got to say, I believe most businesses operate this way. It's the way that it's been done forever. And I think it's done because there's a lack of clarity around it or a lack of understanding about what it actually is. The contrast to that is the shared abundance model. There's lots of business pie to go around. There's more than one pie because there's more than one opportunity for you. So there are various pies of different shapes and colours and textures and tastes, and people create their own opportunities with the pie. Doesn't matter what your competitors are doing. That's the two ideas in a nutshell, but we've got to drill down into that. I just use corporate speak I haven't used for about 10 years. Drill down. Oh, it's coming back.
Can you say that to the kids?
I haven't said drill down to the kids yet, maybe when they're older. Okay, so we're going to look at the scarcity model and then we're going to contrast that against the shared abundance model. So people with the scarcity mentality are focused on what they don't have. They have a lose-win mentality. That is, your gain is my loss. They are competitive because they believe that resources are limited. They hold on to what they have for fear that someone else is going to take it. They focus on the short term. And the scarcity mentality creates sadness and jealousy. People who show scarcity behaviour resent the achievements of other businesses, especially their perceived competitors. They don't engage in dialogue with similar businesses. They resent others for offering suggestions about their business. They monitor their competitors' services, pricing and staffing and attempt to replicate, beat or better. They never recommend a competitor who may be better suited and aligned with the client's needs, even if their own business doesn't have the required assets. They monitor staff heavily, and the staff have little autonomy, influence or trust. So some examples of that way of thinking at work. Let's contrast that with the shared abundance mentality. People with the shared abundance mentality focus and value on what they do have. They have a win-win mentality. They're cooperative as they believe that resources are infinite, and they share what they have for the benefit of others. They focus on the long term. And the abundance mentality creates positive feelings between people. People who show abundance behaviour celebrate the achievements of other businesses, including their perceived competitor. They network with similar businesses in the area. They determine where they differ in the marketplace and they work out how to collaborate. It's really powerful if you can do that. I can say that from experience. They welcome and genuinely seek customer feedback to ensure that their products and services meet their customer needs, desires and expectations. concentrate on their own path and how they are tracking towards their own business goals. They only compete against themselves. And they refer a client to a similar business who is a better fit for their client's needs and whose needs they cannot meet. They have faith in their staff. Staff's natural talents, wide skill sets, instincts and innovations are encouraged and incorporated, even if those skills and ideas sit outside of their job description. Staff are invested and are able to make higher level decisions and hold trust. So that is a side-by-side comparison of what the two mentalities look like in the workplaces, just some examples. Of course, I'm very pro abundance theory, so I'm going to lay out the key principles of the shared abundance philosophy. The more you share, the more you will receive. Competition only exists in the scarcity mindset. Aligning with your greatest competition can bring you the greatest success. Both the scarcity and abundance models are self-perpetuating. If it's what you believe, you're right. Give back before you're successful. And avoid making decisions from a place of fear. And that is really at the core of what's happening with the scarcity mentality. It's decision making based in fear. So how does this relate to us? The shared abundance principle is one of the core values upon which this group has been established. And that was the reason why I said I'll do the first talk, to explain that. What are we talking about? We recognise that through the sharing of knowledge, ideas, experience, feedback and mutual support, we as business owners and our local business community will benefit. Through this shared abundance philosophy, relationships will form, trust will grow and support will manifest. The business networking will be a natural occurrence through the shared experience, and we all get to learn and take away new ideas, skills and understanding. So let us create a shared abundance culture in this group. A space of no judgment, only support. Let's be each other's cheer squad. Seek out each other's feedback, ideas and guidance. Share our knowledge, experience and wisdom. Celebrate each other's successes and look for ways to collaborate. And bring this awareness to your own business as well. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you all for listening.